Welcome back to Mimi's Organic Eats. Today we're making pumpkin spice Pop-Tarts with pie crust. This recipe makes one giant pumpkin spice Pop-Tart that is the perfect way to use up leftover pumpkin. Let me show you guys how to make it. So because we're making these pumpkin spice Pop-Tarts with pie dough, we're going to make the pie crust first because this has to chill in the fridge for at least 4 hours or overnight. So I have 226 grams of all-purpose flour and just a little bit of cane sugar in my stand mixer. And then I also have my 7 tablespoons of cold water ready to go. And now we're going to chop 170 grams of salted butter that is cold straight from the fridge. And you want to cut this into small cubes. Now we're just going to take these butter cubes and we're going to add them into the mixing bowl. Now we're going to turn the mixer on low and mix until the mixture looks like wet sand. All that means is the flour will completely coat the butter. As soon as this happens, we're going to immediately add in all of the cold water. Continue to mix until a shaggy dough forms. We don't want to overmix pie dough, so if you see a little bit of dry bits on the bottom of the mixer, that's okay, we can mix that in by hand. So we want to have 2 pieces of plastic wrap ready. Now we're just going to divide the pie dough in half and form each one into like a rectangle. This is going to give us the shape that we want later, so it's going to be so much easier to roll it out. And if your pie dough had that little bit of dry parts in the bottom, just go ahead and mix it up by hand before dividing it. So just like a rough rectangle, just like this, is perfect. Now you just want to wrap these up and we're going to let them chill in the fridge for at least 4 hours or overnight. So once our pie crust is ready to roll out, then we're going to preheat our oven to 400 degrees. So first we're going to mix up our pumpkin spice filling. So I have 113 grams of dark brown sugar in this large mixing bowl here. Now we're going to add in our pumpkin puree. Next we're going to add in 32 grams of all-purpose flour. And then last, 1.5 teaspoons of pumpkin spice. Now we're just going to fold this together with a spatula until a paste-like texture forms. Now we're going to set this aside and grab our pie crust from the fridge. So we have our pie doughs unwrapped and I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of flour right on top. We don't need too much. So we're going to roll out one of these first, which is going to be the bottom of the Pop-Tarts. And since we already formed these into a rectangle, it should be pretty easy to roll out to keep that shape. Now we're going to transfer this to our baking sheet. So we have our first pie crust rolled out on a baking sheet with parchment paper. Now it's time to roll out the top. Now we're going to set this pie crust aside while we add the filling on top of the other pie crust. So now we're going to take our filling and just spread it out evenly on top of the pie crust that's on the baking sheet. And you want to leave a little bit of border around the edges. This is going to help us seal this giant Pop-Tart together. Now we're going to take the second pie crust and place it right on top. Once the second pie crust is on top, you just want to seal the edges in just by pressing the pie dough together with your hands. Now if you want to have a perfectly rectangle giant Pop-Tart, you can take a knife and just trim off the edges. So now I'm going to take a fork and just go along the edge of this giant Pop-Tart to create that little crimp edge. Then we're going to take the fork and give it some vent holes in the top. Now we're going to make up our pie wash, and I'm just using equal parts of honey and water. So I just have 1.5 tablespoons of honey and 1.5 tablespoons of water in here, and now I'm going to microwave this for about 20 to 30 seconds. This is going to ensure that the honey melts and it can combine with the water. Now we're going to take our honey and water mixture and just brush it all over the top. Then we're going to bake at 400 degrees for 25 to 30 minutes or until the Pop-Tart is golden brown. Now we're going to sift our powdered sugar into a medium mixing bowl. This is going to be for the glaze. Next, we're going to add in our maple syrup. Now we're just going to whisk this together until we have a smooth glaze. Now that our glaze is ready, we're just going to set this aside until the Pop-Tart is out of the oven and completely cooled. Once our giant Pop-Tart is cooled completely, then it's time to add the glaze right on top. And now we have this delicious giant pumpkin spice Pop-Tart. So if you guys want to do some like orange decorating sugars or like some orange sprinkles, you could do that. But I just really love doing a little bit of turbinado sugar right on top of this glaze. It's going to give it like the perfect crunch. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like and leave a comment below. And if you want more pumpkin recipes just like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button and join me next time in the kitchen.